Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, it's your brother G Hightower coming in on this Friday night, a little special edition of the Friday Night Love Chat, y'all. And tonight I wanted to come in and just share a couple of love nuggets with you on this note, and that is it takes courage. It takes courage to love again. When you see so many people out there that are saying, "Oh, there's not enough good men out there. Oh, where are the good men at? Oh, Dr. G, man, these women ain't about nothing, and we're the good women who, the women who want to help take care of a man as he's providing for her, that she should also be taking care of him," and all of those things, as if there are no people in the world that you're running into. It's only for one of two reasons. And the latter one is what I'll share and put emphasis on. Number one, it's either because you are ensconced in your own little world and you haven't gone anywhere. You're not socializing, you're not networking on a regular basis. And for those of you who are networking, you're only networking for business or ministry reasons only, but not networking with an open heart and an open mind, being prepared to receive somebody into your life, making yourself accessible for a relationship opportunity. Some of y'all have been introduced or have the idea proposed to you that they would like to introduce you to someone. And many of you have shut that down. No, I ain't trying to meet nobody. No, I ain't trying to be in a relationship. Many of you have crossed paths with good quality people. No, I ain't trying to be in a relationship right now. And the second reason is the greater factor, and that is the fear factor. A lot of us are struggling with the fear factor. A lot of us, I'm going to just say it like I feel it, y'all. A lot of us are enslaved. You might as well be a slave on a plantation somewhere on an emotional relationship basis. All right. I don't want to trigger nobody. I ain't trying to take y'all back to roots. All right. Uh, but seriously, a lot of us are slaves. We're slaves to our fears. And this is why we keep pushing away good people. This is why we don't go out. This is why we've isolated ourselves. And we'll put up this facade that we call protecting my peace. And that's not protecting your peace. Protecting your peace is about being a peaceful person. And being a peaceful person means that you will also attract peaceful people. It doesn't mean that no unpeaceful people or people who are chaotic, that those people are not going to enter your life. Come on. What are we thinking about? Jesus is the Prince of Peace. And he had all kind of people coming into his life. He had all kind of people that he crossed paths with. He had chaotic people. He had demonic filled, demon peace possessed people. Come on. There was one young man that we see in the scripture. Dr. Clara, bless you, dear. Good to see you. Wow. Talking about make me smile. Dr. Clara's in the building. There's one person that Jesus encountered, and Jesus asked the demons that were in this young man, "What is your name?" And the demons responded saying, "Legion, for we are many." Now, if we go by maritime measures, a legion is 6,000. So this young man, if we're going by maritime standards, uh, this man had 6,000 demons that he was possessed with. And Jesus is the Prince of Peace. And I'm sharing that with you, family, not to be preachy. I'm sharing that with you to say that this whole notion of protecting my peace doesn't mean that we don't involve ourselves and we don't give access of ourselves to other people. All right. I need everybody in the comment section to drop these words in the chat for me. We all need somebody. We all need somebody. We all need somebody. Those of you who are isolationists, you're going to be unhappy in your life because there's a real medical condition called skin hunger. And I am afraid. I am literally, my heart goes out to people who have completely isolated themselves under the auspices of protecting my peace. I am really concerned. I am really concerned. And I am praying for people who have isolated themselves completely because many of you could actually end up dying of skin hunger. Skin hunger is a condition. No, it's not about cannibalism. Skin hunger is a real condition where people begin to emotionally They begin to fall into an emotionally debilitated state. And this state, Lady du jour, this emotionally debilitated state causes people to begin to die on the inside due to a lack of human contact. So when you read about and you hear about people that they weren't sick, there's no apparent cause of a heart attack or stroke or some other physical condition, but they just died of natural causes. People are not dying of natural causes in their 40s, in their 50s, in their 60s. People, they're not. They're not. It's not reasonable that people are dying in their 40s, in their 50s. That's too young to get up out of here with no sickness, no diseases, nothing like that. Come on, y'all. Come on, the math ain't mathing. Now, we might not be as healthy as our grandparents were, okay? Because we don't partake of the same quality of food as our grandparents did, right? The food is not even the same since we were kids, y'all. Come on. Those of us that grew up in the 80s, the food is not the same, right? I used to love drinking milk. I don't drink no more because now the milk is too filled with chemicals, right? So everything has changed. The taste of coffee is different. I used to drink Folgers. Now I got to get my coffee imported so I know that my coffee is pure, right? So the world has changed. But just because the world has changed, the standard of real love has not changed. Are you willing to press past your fears to experience real love? That's the question. All right. Because none of us should die by ourselves. All right. We were built for relationships, we were built to love. God is love. And if God's spirit if God's spirit dwells inside of you, that means that love dwells inside of you. So real love is still the same. It's still the same. The question is, what are you willing to do to have it? What are you willing to do to receive it? And are you also willing to give it? Okay. For those of you that are just looking to get, receive, 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 healthy relationships are reciprocal. So if you are an emotionally healthy person, you should be ready to both give and receive love. Now, there are those who choose not to be in a relationship. You choose singleness. That's okay. I commend those of you who choose a life of singleness. But the mass majority of people who say, oh, I'm just single in this season, and those who would put up the claim of being called to singleness, there's very, 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 very few people in this world who actually have been graced by God to be called to singleness, be a modern day eunuch, all right? Being called to be a celibate. Now, many of you call yourselves being celibate and you're on your celibacy journey because you're not having sex. That's not the proper terminology. The proper terminology is abstinence because the word of God instructs us to abstain from sex until marriage. All right. However, to be a celibate is a social, is a societal terminology for a person who is completely removed from all sexual intimacy that includes kissing, that includes caressing, holding, hugging, all of that. That person would be known in society as a celibate. So that person essentially is like a modern day eunuch, that they are removed, not involved at all in any type of romantic relationship, no dating relationship, because romance and love and intimacy on a physical level is not a part of their makeup nor a part of their destiny. So you all should probably consider changing that terminology of, oh, I'm on my celibacy journey, because that means that you're on a journey to having no sex for the rest of your life versus being on an abstinence journey, which means I'm disciplining myself to abstain from sex until I meet my partner that I'm going to be in covenant relationship with. All right. All right. Let me drop three love nuggets on y'all. I don't have a lot of time, but I'm going to share with you three quick love nuggets on why it takes courage to love again. All right. How many people in the chat will share with me real quick? How many of y'all are courageous again? That you're courageous enough to trust your own heart and that you are open to trusting someone else in your life. All right. Now, I know trust is earned over time. However, there can be no kind of relationship, business, work, church, there can be no kind of relationship established without trust. We have to at least have a modicum of trust for someone else if you're going to be involved with them, even if it's a church relationship, even if it's a working relationship where you're just showing up on a job. I ain't got to trust nobody. All I got to do is get to work and do my job. You got to trust somebody. You got to trust that the doors are going to be open when you get there. You know on the job, you ain't got no keys yet, right? Whatever it is, you got to trust, right? You get on a plane, you got to trust that that pilot knows what the heck he's doing, and that you're not going to end up like Denzel Washington in the movie Flight, where they've been drinking and doing drugs all night. You got to trust that that man or that woman is going to take you 35,000 feet up in the air and still get you safely to your destination. That requires trust. So we all got to trust somebody. The question is, are you emotionally healthy enough to trust somebody to love? All right. That's what's up. Hey, Nodella, good to see you. Miss Sheila, blessings to you. Good to see you. All right, so here we go. Let me drop these love nuggets on you. I'm talking about reasons why courage. It takes courage to love again. All right. Number one, I talked about the fear factor, but what's also necessary, we'll go a little bit deeper here. The reason why it takes courage to love again, and I'm specifically talking to those of us who have been married and widowed, married and divorced. Okay. Or even for those of you who have never been married, but you've been in relationships that led to disappointment rather than leading to destiny. Okay. This is for you, all of us, particularly those of us who are on the other side of 40. All right. So the reason why it takes courage to love again is because the reality is, family, is that love, after going through pain, the pain of disappointment or the pain of loss, hey, it's a battlefield. It is an emotional battlefield. Somebody drop those two words in the chat. It's an emotional battlefield because you got to get through the emotional scars that were left, right? I like to call them soul wounds, the soul wounds of disappointment. Oh, good stuff, Charisma. I love that. And I like your name too. Interesting spelling, nice spelling, and I love the name, Charisma. Beautiful name. Um, yeah, Dr. Clara, love is a battlefield. It really is. You got to battle through the emotional scars that was left from the previous person, right? And then you have to deal with, hey, Miss Kanisha, you also have to deal with the fact that this person is now going to be dealing with what I call the hot stove syndrome. The hot stove syndrome. So what happens when we get burned on a hot stove? If anybody's even near a hot stove, now some of y'all don't know how to cook. You ain't even been near a kitchen except to take your plate in the kitchen after you get through eating, or to go pick up a plate. But if you've ever been burned on a hot stove or had hot grease pop on you, uh, you notice about yourself that every time you go near grease that's popping or the stove, you can feel the surge of heat coming from that stove. You've noticed about yourself, you're like, oh, you yank back, like, oh, it's the hot stove syndrome. Why? Because I don't want to get burned again. Especially if you suffered a severe burn on your arm or any part of your body. Anytime you feel anything with a surge of heat that remotely seems hot, you'll be like, oh, you pull back from it, right? Many of us are dealing with that. It's the fear of being hurt again, right? The hot stove syndrome. And so a lot of us are dealing with that. A lot of us are dealing with going through the emotional battlefield of having someone betray your trust. That's a soul wound, betrayal, abandonment, rejection. Those are the three top soul wounds that most of us are struggling with, right? So what we do not do, we ain't doing that again. I ain't about to get burned again. Hamburger. It took all the skin off the side of my arm. My skin was pink for a while. I had to get my melanin back. Right? It took a little while, making no fun of people that got burned like that. It's no joke. All right. So quite naturally, a lot of us are there and we remain there for a long time. Okay. So of course, it's going to require some courage to push past those fears, to push past that hot stove syndrome of being burned again, right? And then there are those of us who struggle with a condition. Yes, Kanisha, some people, the only thing they know about a kitchen is taking their plate to the kitchen or picking up a plate from the kitchen. Don't know nothing about cooking. I don't know how grown folks, especially my sisters, I don't know how y'all in your 30s and 40s and you don't know how to cook. Who raised y'all? Hamburger. For real. I'm serious. That's no slight. I'm just asking a question. Like, who raised y'all? Okay. As a young man, I learned how to cook when I was 11. Who raised y'all that y'all don't know how to cook? Hamburger. Okay. Um, because even if you're going to be rich and you were raised in a wealthy family, at some point you're going to have to survive based on somebody else not preparing food for you. You should just know the basic fundamentals. All right. Just as a grown person, period. All right. Now, there's a real condition. I'll close with this one. There's a real condition, Kanisha. There's a real condition, Charisma, Nodella, Dr. Clara, called pistanthrophobia. Pistanthrophobia is the fear of trusting others. And really, when we dig deeper into it, it's also the fear of trusting yourself. When you hear people say things like, oh, I don't really trust my decisions anymore. My hem picker is broke. And I even have brothers that have told me, hey, Dr. G, my her picker is broken. I don't trust myself to choose the right woman anymore. I've made too many mistakes. I get it. And what that is, it is pistanthrophobia, the fear of trusting others. So people with trust issues is a huge reason why a lot of us are not in relationships. But it takes courage to push past that fear of trusting others. You've got to trust somebody. I told one of my sisters who is a world traveler. Matter of fact, she has her own travel agency. I'm like, girl, you crazy. I said this to her because I can talk to her like that. I said, girl, you crazy. You have traveled to places where it was just you. Like I wouldn't even travel to some of the places where you've traveled to by myself. You've traveled to all kind of places and you're trusting that driver to get you to your destination. You're trusting this person to get you here. You're trusting food in places where many people have never been. The wonderful places where you've taken pictures and been videos and all of this wonderful stuff. But you won't trust yourself to get in a relationship? Gee, love just feels dangerous to me. When love feels dangerous to you, it's going to require you to have courage to push past those fears. Okay. That's an attachment style that has developed over a period of years. And because we've not been in the practice of developing healthy relationships and we've gotten out of practice, gotten out of touch with that, now what you really desire in your heart, which is real love, it feels dangerous to you because it's uncomfortable. And it's only uncomfortable because you've gotten out of practice of developing relationships. So it takes courage. So, how do I get the courage? I'm so glad you asked. You get the courage. The beginning point, okay, is you getting in prayer and asking God to get you free from this fear. God has not given us the spirit of fear. Fear is a spirit. He has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. All right. There's another scripture in Romans chapter 8, and it says, God has not turned us over again to the spirit of bondage or the spirit of enslavement to fear. Fear is a slave master. And I don't know any person, and especially not a black person, who wants to be enslaved. I don't know no black people that want to be in chains, with the exception of the platinum or gold chains we wear on our neck. Right? So you don't want to be enslaved. You don't want to be have your life forever being in an emotional prison that won't allow you to get out and be free to love. Family, next to being saved and enjoying the presence of Almighty God, the second greatest human experience that a person can have on this earth in this lifetime is to share love with another human being. And somebody would say, no, it's about having children. You can't have children until you have love first. Some of us had children backwards, with somebody we didn't really love. But you understand what I'm saying? On a human level, next to being in the presence of God, having the Spirit of God, there's nothing greater on a human level that one can encounter than sharing love, real love with another human being. It's the greatest experience ever. And those that don't believe that simply have never experienced it. It's just that simple. Of course, you can criticize what you've never had, but you can't accurately criticize something you've never had. All right? Listen, I want to invite you to be a part of my coaching program, which is going to be life changing for you. All right. It's the preparing for real love, preparing for real love. This is a group coaching experience. Now, listen, the program is a 4-week transformational journey. I currently have a class going on right now, but I've already been inboxed by at least 10 or 12 people. It says, Dr. G, I couldn't make this one, but I want to get in your next class that you're having. So I have another class coming up. It's going to be 4 weeks of intentional relationship building. This is all about getting our hearts prepared so we can love again. All right. What do we deal with in this 4-week journey? We deal with helping us to expose relationship blind spots. Again, if you haven't dated in 5 or 10 years, or even 2 to 3 years, you're out of touch. You're out of the rhythm of what it takes as a man or a woman to bond with somebody, even if you bond with them on a platonic level. Okay. Anything that you haven't done in years, you're going to be out of touch. I shared this, Nodella, Kanisha. I shared this in one of my previous sessions. I talked about that. I recently got in the swimming pool. Now, I'm an avid swimmer. Okay. Matter of fact, at one time I was a lifeguard. And man, let me tell you, I thought I was going to do 10 laps in this pool. Baby, I got to lap number 3 and I was like, and I pushed myself to do them last 2 laps. I did 5 and I was exhausted. I was hanging on the side of the pool. Thought I was about to have an asthma attack, and I don't even have asthma. What are you saying, Pastor G? Coach G, how does that apply to me? I've been swimming my whole life since I was 6 years old, but I hadn't been swimming in a couple of years. But baby, I got my tail in that pool, thought I was going to be the black Aquaman, and almost died in that pool. Anything you haven't done in a long time, no matter how proficient you used to be at it, you're not going to be as good. It's going to take you some time. This class prepares you to expedite that time of what you would need to do to be ready for a healthy love relationship. All right. We're going to expose relationship blind spots. We're going to take you through the steps of getting healing in your soul so that your mind, your will, your emotions are ready for a relationship. And then we're going to help even expose any possible soul ties from your past. Now, someone asked me this question before, and I'll go ahead and answer it again. The difference between a soul wound and a soul tie. A soul wound, the wound of the soul, is situational. It's something that occurred in your lifetime that could be stemming all the way back to childhood, right? That's a soul wound. A soul wound shows up in the form of fear of rejection, fear of betrayal, fear of being abandoned, all right? Some people, Kanisha, are super clingy in relationships, not because so much because they're so loving and they're so affectionate. A lot of people, in fact, I would suggest most people are very clingy in relationships because they're overcompensating due to a fear of being abandoned. This is the person that says, oh my God, I really do love, but every time I get close to somebody, I feel like they're going to leave me. I feel like this situation is good now, but it's too good to be true. All of those inward conversations are based on the soul wound of abandonment. All right. So soul wounds are situational. Soul tie is relational. It's directly connected to someone that you've been involved with. It doesn't require sex. A lot of people mistake. They think that a soul tie happens because you've been sexual with somebody. A soul tie can take place completely absent of sexual intercourse. Because remember now, the soul consists of our mind, our will, and our emotions. So you never had to have sex. You ain't never had to kiss them. You never even have to see them in person and still develop a very strong bond called a soul tie. It's toxic, it's unhealthy. There are good soul ties, all right? There are good soul ties, but in this context, we're talking about the negative parts of a soul tie, which is your connection to a person who's not good for you, all right? There are people who have soul ties with married folks, and you calling, oh, that's my work husband. Yeah, he's married, but at work, it's like we're married because we work so closely together and we spend so much time together. And we actually spend more time together than we do with our spouses. I'm married and he's married, but when we're at work, that's my work husband. The devil is a lie. That's called having an illegal covenant relationship. All right. That is a soul tie, and it is not healthy. It's actually destructive. Okay. It will ultimately lead to infidelity. You playing with fire, having these soul tie working relationships. And some of us got soul tie spirit spouses at church, the person you work in that auxiliary in that department with. Listen, if we don't have no future together as two single people, single meaning you are completely divorced, not separated, and divorce is in process. No, you are completely divorced. Period. Divorce is final, papers in hand. Until that happens, ain't nothing happening between us. All right. So y'all need to go ahead and pronounce the benediction on this situation. May the Lord watch between me and thee. So listen, this class is going to be life changing for you. Boom. You can go to my website, readytoloveagain.com, and register for this awesome class. And the next class is coming up soon. You can get in and get your seat because the class is limited. I'm not taking a whole lot of people. My last class that I had last year was 58 people. Way too big of a class. This class, I wanted to always be intimate so that we have the good Q&A sessions where everybody gets a chance to share. Everybody gets a chance to ask questions at the end of the teaching so that we're all getting involved in our love journey together. All right. Now, I got to go. Speaking of sessions, I got a session right now. So I love y'all. I hope you've been blessed by the information we shared. And if you are interested in registering, let me know in the chat. I'm gonna wait for 30 seconds to let you know. You can just put one word in the chat, interested. You may not have the whole $97 tonight. I got you. You can make a small little deposit and boom, you can get this journey started. You can get your seat because I promise you, I'm not taking a lot of people. And you can ask the people that have worked with me and been through my classes. He is not playing. All right. I am interested in helping people get relationship ready and then move toward the goal of marriage. This is not about hooking up. Who will be a good sex partner? If you're looking for that, you're in the wrong group. We don't play them games over here. I encourage the men and the women that I work with, keep sex off the table. Sex is the easiest thing to happen between human beings. Y'all ain't even got to like each other or even know each other's name, and sex can go down. So needless to say, good sex is not a part of the factor of healthy relationship development. What is a factor is how we bond together spiritually and how we connect and align together intellectually and emotionally. All right. So if you are interested, boom, the information is right there. And again, you can go to my website, readytoloveagain.com. This is a 4-week class, y'all. That's $97. That's less than $25 a week. You ain't going to get that nowhere. All right. Love and blessings to you. And if you want one-on-one coaching, I'm available as well. If you want one-on-one coaching, listen, I am available for you whenever you're ready to put in the work. All right. So you can send me an email if you want one-on-one coaching. Boom, there's my email address, Dr. G at readytoloveagain.com. That's Dr. G at readytoloveagain.com. Send me an email if you want one-on-one coaching. I am here for you, and I'll be glad to work with you. All right. I am not new to this. I'm true to this. 22 years this coming August, 22 years of serving as a pastoral counselor, specializing in relationships, y'all. All right. I'm here to be a blessing to you. I work with men and women individually as well as collectively. So if you're dating somebody and you want to maybe get some premarital counseling or pre-engagement counseling, I got you. All right. Send me an email, Dr. G at readytoloveagain.com. All right. Love and blessings to you, fam. Have a good night. I may come back on later. We'll see. But in the meantime, y'all stay blessed, not stressed. And remember, it takes courage to love again. Blessings.